Hello. Many of my friends that know me as a Harley riding biker call me Big Al. But to my elementary students, I'm Mr. Owl, the wise old science guy. I'm here to tell you today about something that happened to me 10 years ago, where my passion for bikes led me to a discovery that changed the way I teach. It seems unlikely, I know. As you said, I work for Houston ISD's Outdoor Education Center in Trinity, Texas. Every week, we bring about 200 inner-city fifth graders to Lake Livingston for a week-long outdoor experience. If you came and saw our program in action, you would think, it looks like summer camp. But we're actually an outdoor science lab. We teach kids biology and ecology by taking them outside and immersing them in nature, actually putting them in the middle of those concepts that we're trying to teach. We teach students conservation by getting their hands dirty with real projects like tree planting, wildlife surveys, and habitat restoration. For many of our students, this one trip to the piney woods will be the only time in their life that they leave the city. Their only real experience in nature. Think about that. One time to leave Houston. I try to avoid going to Houston. With this in mind, we always try to squeeze the most out of every moment that the students are with us, and we're always looking for ways to make every lesson just a little bit better. Now, I'm also an avid biker. I have ridden my Harley from Texas to Alaska and back, sleeping alongside the road. I have a 140-mile-per-hour drag racing bike that I built myself. I love anything with two wheels and a motor. So, in 2002, when I had the opportunity to visit the Guggenheim Museum's Art of the Motorcycle exhibit, I jumped at the opportunity. It was time for a road trip to Vegas. Okay, I know what you're thinking, but you know Vegas has the Eiffel Tower, it has the Statue of Liberty, it even has the Sphinx and the pyramids. Well, it used to have a branch of the Guggenheim in the Venetian Hotel. It only lasted 15 months, and then this multi-million-dollar building was converted into a theater that now hosts, get this, ready for this? Faith Hill Tim McGraw concerts. Anyway, I got there before all that happened. I made it to Vegas safe, checked into my room, found the nearest buffet, and then hit the blackjack tables, because when you're in Vegas, there's certain things you just gotta do. Once I'd lost all my money, which I think took 3 minutes, I headed down the strip to see the bikes. Now, this was the greatest collection of iconic motorcycles that has ever been assembled, bar none. In the very first room, there is a steam-powered velocipede. That's what they called bikes in the 1860s. I didn't even know they made bikes in the 1860s. In the next room, there's a German-built bike with a radial motor assembled into the spokes of the front wheel. The motor actually spun with the wheel while it propelled itself forward. I'm not even sure how that's possible. I even got to see Peter Fonda's red, white, and blue Easy Rider chopper. The exhibit was everything I dreamed it would be, and then some. And I say and then some because my ticket included a second, very different exhibit. And it was called, make sure I get it right, Masterpieces and Master Collectors. Impressionist and Early Modern Paintings from the Hermitage and Guggenheim Museums. Pretty catchy title, I think. Well, I had never studied art. In fact, I'm not sure I could have told you an Impressionist painting from dogs playing poker, but I grabbed a headset and walked in anyway. And I strolled the halls and learned a little bit about Chagall, Matisse, Picasso, Franz Kline. The exhibit ended with Vasily Kandinsky's 1936 painting, Dominant Curve. Now, this is a pretty big painting. It's about 6 feet wide. And I'm looking at it, and I'm scratching my head. I don't get it. To me, it looks like some amoebas on a staircase. But then, this symphonic music starts playing in the headphones. And the narrator asked me to immerse myself in the painting while listening to the music. And suddenly, I understood. I heard the painting. Or maybe I saw the music, or maybe a little bit of both. But I know this. For the first time in my life, I understood a piece of abstract art. But then I had a second revelation. This is sound mapping. Okay, so what's sound mapping? Sound mapping is this simple lesson that's been floating around outdoor education for decades. We have the students draw compass rose in their notebooks. They sit and listen in nature, and they record the sounds they hear and in what quadrant they heard them from. It's a pretty basic lesson, pretty clinical sketchbook. But no, now I knew I had something much more powerful. I could introduce my students to Kandinsky. I could teach them about abstract art, and yet still have them recording the sounds of nature. It's a win-win. My very next class, I showed my students dominant curve, and I asked them what they thought. No, not amoebas on a staircase. But then I asked them, if this painting made a sound, what kind of sound would it make? And I got some good answers. Circus music. No, I think it's jazz. Mister, I think it's a birthday party. I think you're all right. I gave each student then a handful of colored pencils, and I asked them to sit out there and draw the sounds they heard. I had no idea if it would work. But they're all spread out, quietly listening and scribbling away, and I start walking around and peeking over shoulders. And I'm amazed. They got it. They really, really got it. They were freely using colors and shapes to record the sounds they were hearing. In a way, they were creating their own language. And then, when we gathered back to share our masterpieces, I was amazed again, because it turns out this language was somewhat universal. Not in the sense that they all used the same colors and shapes, but they could recognize this as a crow's caw, or this as a gentle breeze. 9 times out of 10, they could look at each other's drawings and they could tell what the sounds were. Now, I want you to think back to that student, that kid from the city, who is only going to have 4 days. All of your life's experience in nature is going to be crunched into 4 short days. Would you rather spend your time memorizing the chemical equations for photosynthesis and cellular respiration, or would you like to draw the sunset? I know what I would choose. And I got excited. I got really excited, and I started studying art history. And I started finding other ways to connect master artists and nature. Each new artist provides a lens to observe and see the world in a whole new way. We use Pablo Picasso to inspire blind contour drawings. We use Georgia O'Keeffe to explore the form and function of plant adaptations. Tribal artist Norval Morisseau helps illustrate food chains. Do y'all see the bunny inside the monster? Yeah, I like that one. Graffiti artist Norval Morisseau helps students express their feelings about nature. And we do Andy Goldsworthy sculptures because it's fun. In hindsight, that day in Vegas, I learned a lot more than art. I learned that when a door opens for you and you walk through it with an open mind, it can change your life. And I also learned that what happens in Vegas most certainly does not stay in Vegas. Thank you.